Hello, this will be part 2 of the microscope, and this time I will be working on creating a modular microscope. I will be creating another holder, and then I will create another screw, and then I will interlock them together. So the two holders will interlock and the two screws will be interlocked with a hex key. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so first of all, let's take this one and we're going to transform. I'm going to grab these items right here. 1, 2, 3, and this guy right here, 4. Should be those. Okay, and I'm going to move them straight up. So I'm going to translate X, Y, Z, and then we're going to go in the negative Z. Let's pull this over. So it's negative Z right here. We're going to go negative 120. And we're going to not copy. Here we go. We can actually select this guy too. We're going to make a new one of those. Not the hex itself, but the actual body. So there we are. Choose OK. And our hex, we can left click, right click, and we can hide this guy. Alright, so now we're going to transform these two pieces. And we're going to move them down. X, Y, Z. And 120. We're going to copy these parts now. Click on that little button right there, green check. So now we have the height, and we can see that this does not match it with each other. So I need to blow this through, or what I'll do is I'll actually take this and then I gotta match this edge up with this edge right here. So that's 4 millimeters because of the helix coil was 4 millimeters. So let's go create a plane on this surface right here. We're going to push that 4 millimeters down, and this will be our split plane. Okay, so now we got to do a split. I'm going to click on this guy, click on this guy, and we're going to split with this plane right here. It's okay. It's thinking. All right, so now we can do a delete part right here. I'm going to delete that guy, delete this guy. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do a transform. And we're going to take these items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to translate them down the 4 millimeters plus 2 millimeters because of the extra gap that I already had. So 6 millimeters total. So let's go -6, or I'm sorry, we're going +6. No copy, just moving it down. All right, and there we are. And let's see our shape is matched up now. So now when we 3D print this, after we're done 3D printing, we could put like a little identification mark, maybe a little paint mark right there to match up those two. So now we will need this hex down here. This hex has to go in between here. So let's move that down. Let's create a copy of it. And we can move it down. So let's do a transform. Grab this guy. It's having a hard time choosing it. There we go. All right, and we just grab. We can actually click over here. We can do X, Y, Z, and we can just click on front, and we can just pull it to where we think it's approximately. And we need to copy part. Say OK. Now let's click there, hide that part. We can hit Y to hide that, and we can see our hexes inside of there. Okay. Control Z to undo that. Now we got our 2 hex to tie those into place. Now we will need to create the geometry to hold these guys in. So let's start a sketch on this surface right here. Let's hide this guy. So click that, hit Y, click this, click Y, click that, Y. So now we're going to create a sketch on this surface right here. So let's go to sketch. And let's start. Now we can create our shape here. Just a rectangle here to here. Escape dimension here to here. We'll do like 8 millimeters here to here. 4 millimeters. And then we're going to create a shape that goes basically from here to here. We're gonna match it up so we kind of hover over that one, and you see the dotted line. That's exactly what we want right there. And then we can connect it right there like that. Let's hit our M for trim. We trim that guy. Let's put a couple dimensions on here. We're gonna mention this. Let's say this is 2.5. And then here to here is 4. And then we can check that size here to here. Let's do this like 3 millimeters. So this will go into the other part 3 millimeters. And yeah, so it will tuck into there, right? I think that's pretty good right there. We'll add an edge right here. We'll change this here to here. Hit M to trim that. Oops, I need a Control Z. Okay, so there. Now we need a line to go straight up. So we got to go from here to here, here to here. I have to choose here to there. Okay, escape to get out of that. M to trim. We're gonna trim those two. Trim that guy. All right, trim this guy, and let's put an angle on this. We want it to be 45 degrees. Here to here. Angle here to here. All right, and then 45. There we are. Lock this guy into place. Now we're going to click on vertical. Click on this guy. We want him to be vertical. All right, so that's our shape right there. So let's hit finish sketch here, and let's do a sweep on this guy. So over here, we're going to click sweep. Faces, sketches, regions to sweep this guy right here. Sweep path. We're going to create our path here, which is here, 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 and here. Click OK. And this clicks add, so it will add it automatically. So it will become one piece, all right? All right, so now we go to the other side. Let's click on part 8, and we can now see we have interference inside of here. So let's we could see this is actually coming through. So we don't actually want it to come through. We need it to be a little bit recessed back the other way. So we'll change this dimension, and we might actually make the thickness of this entire guy just a little bit thicker to allow for us to lock into each other. Because right now, this would affect your 3D printing. So let's go and let's go with one of the very first sketches. Go into sketch 4 here, and we're going to change this outer dimension. Thickness of 2, we're going to change that to 3.5. So you see it just created everything a little bit thicker. Okay, click OK. And now it's going to update everything. All right, so now we updated our thickness, and looks like everything is updated except for the bottom area. It looks like the sketch broke. So what we can do is we can go through and we fix this sketch here. Looks like the thickness has changed, and it didn't like that. So the extrude, now I'm gonna have to go back into sketch. We'll fix this sketch right here. So it looks like that offset. Let me hide this guy. Click Y. Looks like one of these updated, but the other one didn't. So what we can do is we can mirror. Let's hide this guy. Y. We click on Y to hide that. So what we're going to do is take this shape right here, or we're going to mirror it about this line right here, and we can delete this guy right here and delete. So we got a bunch of deletes to do. Let's go trim. We're going to trim this guy, that guy, that guy, we could, yeah, we can keep the back one. Trim that. And now what we should be able to do is mirror all of these guys. So let's click on mirror. Select the mirror line, which is this guy right here. And now we select our entities to mirror. So the reason this happened was when I must have mirrored it, I didn't have all the offsets picked properly. So this outside edge must not have chose it properly. There we are. We can choose that guy, mirror him. And we might as well mirror this guy. We'll get rid of these spare things. So, okay, that's good. We're entirely mirrored now. Let's do a trim. Let's go to M. We can trim that guy. Trim. And we can trim. Looks like something's going on here. Trim. Let's do a mirror on that. We'll re-mirror this outside guy. So let's go to mirror. Select the mirror line right there. Features mirror, this guy. Is he connected? Yes, he is. Is he connected there? No, he's not. So we'll mirror this guy. All right. And now we can go with M, trim. We're trimming this guy. And we can finish now. And our part should pop up now. All right. So we fixed that, the stand. All right. So let's show our hidden parts. Now we need to go through and remove the interference that we're seeing here. So what we want to do is we want to subtract this from this, but we want to keep this. So what we can do is a subtraction boolean. Boolean subtract. We want to keep the tool. Tool is this guy. Target is this guy. And click OK. And we can see that trimmed it. All right, so now we got two separate pieces. And we can change color of this. We can left click, right click, edit to appearance. And then we can change whatever color we want. All right, so we have completed that subtraction. And now we can see the two pieces are created and they are keyed into each other. So basically this one will slide into the other one. All right, so we just subtracted that. So let's hide this guy. Click on it and hit Y. Now we want to go through and we want to use the thicken command and to make these make it so there's a little bit of clearance in between these two and the other part in the bottom there. So let's go to thicken. We're going to click on these faces right here, and it's actually already populating. So what I can do is I can put in here like 0.3, right? And then I can reverse it, and then we can see what it's doing now. So that's good. Let's reverse all of these. So we're going to click on each one of these. And then on these guys, we can hide this screw in a second if we want, but I can see around it, so that's good. So it looks like I have everything chosen. All right, click OK. Now we can bring back that one part, and that part is 8. Let's click on the little eyeball. All right, we are now back, and we have we have a little bit of clearance in here. So you may want to 3D print this and create a split here and a split here, and then mate these two together and see how well they fit together. If you see any problems with that, then you can modify this clearance a little more. And so another thing we can do, let's hide this guy right here. Let's put some fillets on here so we can make it fit in there a little better. So this edge, yep, it chose all of the edge, so that's good. We can choose this edge, do the same thing, this edge. And I don't want to do that edge because it will actually possibly interfere with the other part. So let's show the other part. And yeah, so if we brought in that edge, we may possibly interfere. So, but we can choose this edge for sure. So we can go here, we can add that edge, and this edge would be just fine. We can modify that one, this one, on this one, so it follows all the way through. Okay. All right, so yeah, I would say give this a test 3D print, chop it, you know, to do the section view, you would take a plane, take the plane here, and then, you know, push it down like, let's say 10 millimeters, just far enough to where it's going to clear that for sure. Let's say 5 millimeters actually might be acceptable. Click OK. Then we can create another plane on this one right here. Actually, cancel that. We would create another plane on using that surface, and then I'll go backwards. And let's pull this a little bit closer, about right there, so 20 millimeters. All right, so, and then you can do 2 splits. And to do the splits, you go here, click on that guy, split with this guy. All right, and then you can do the same for that one. Now we have a different body here, and then to get this exported and 3D printed, left click, right click, and you can go to export, and then we can export it out as a STL, and then you can then print that and see if these match up and work together. All right, so I'm going to Control Z, undo a couple of these. I'm going to get rid of those split lines. All right, so if you want to make this truly modular, and you only want this top portion of this to work, we would have to shift this top portion down or shift this all the way up. So let's create a copy of this. We're going to move this up. So let's do a transform. We're going to click on this guy and we're going to move him up 120 plus 6, so 126. So we're going to do X, Y, Z. We're going in the negative Z direction. So negative 126. And we want to copy that part. Okay. We can see now. Let's space. Let's hide this guy. Click on him and hit Y. Click Y. Y. So now we'll have to make this 20 millimeters thicker. We're going to thicken up this guy. We want to make sure that it has enough material, because we now have this additional material that we get to clear. So let's thicken up the outside of this. Go to thicken. Click on all these faces. We'll go down here and we'll choose like 2 millimeters additional thickness. Say OK. All right. So now we want to take this surface and push them down 20 millimeters. So let's thicken that. 20. 20. All right. So now we are thick enough to go down inside of there, but we see there's interference now. So let's go through this original green piece and we can modify that. So let's hide this guy right here real quick. It's kind of in my way. Click on Y, click it, click on Y. So now let's hide this guy right here. He is left click, right click, and we are going to hide part 2. So we'll remember that the name is part 2. And let's go through and let's open this guy up. So let's do a thicken. We're going to flip it the opposite way. And we're going to change it to, I'm going to try 2 millimeters. We'll see if that has interference. All right. Let's bring in part 2. We're still hitting a little bit. We're going to double click on that thicken 6. We're going to change this to 4 millimeters. And now we should have clearance between there. So that's about 0.5 clearance. And we want to reduce this clearance. So let's do another thicken here. We're going to push this back 4 millimeters. There we are. All right. So that should support this enough. Let's go to section view. Let's take a look at this section here. Click on that, pull this in, and yeah, we can see that this face is going to hit, you know, this is going to hold it into position. So this should be plenty thick enough. All right, let's show all the parts. And there we are. So if you want to have the modularity, you would print this extra piece right here. And then you can remove this piece, and this piece. I'm going to hide this. And click on it and Y. So this completes the modular microscope holder. Please like and subscribe, and thanks.